Aesop stories. Number 71. Working together is important. Number 71. Working together is important. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a body. This body had many parts. Hands that could grab and carry, feet that could walk and run, eyes that could see, a mouth that could eat and talk, and a belly that seemed to just sit there doing nothing. One day, the hands, feet, eyes, and mouth started talking to each other. They were upset. "Why do we have to do all the work?" they asked. "We grab, carry, walk, run, see, and eat, but all the belly does is sit there and get all the food. It's not fair." They thought the belly was lazy, just enjoying all the food without doing any work. So they made a plan. "Let's stop giving food to the belly," they decided. "Then it will learn its lesson and start working too." At first, this seemed like a good plan to them. But after a little while, things started to go wrong. The hands became weak and couldn't grab or carry anything. The feet could hardly stand, let alone walk or run. The eyes started to blur, seeing everything cloudy, and the mouth felt dry and could hardly speak. The whole body began to feel very weak and tired. The parts of the body realized they had made a big mistake. They thought the belly wasn't doing any work, but they were wrong. They learned that the belly had a very important job. When the mouth ate food, the belly would take it and turn it into energy. This energy was sent all over the body, to the hands, the feet, the eyes, and the mouth, so they could do all their jobs. Without the belly getting food, it couldn't make energy. Without energy, none of the body parts could do anything. They all needed each other to work properly and stay healthy. Feeling sorry, the hands, feet, eyes, and mouth decided to start giving food to the belly again. Slowly, as the belly turned the food into energy, the body started to feel strong again. The hands could grab and carry, the feet could walk and run, the eyes could see clearly, and the mouth could eat and talk without feeling dry. The body parts learned an important lesson. Every part has its own job that might not always be seen, but it's still very important. They realized that working together was the best way to be happy and healthy. Number 72. Actions and consequences. Number 72. Actions and consequences. In a sunny field filled with flowers and trees, there was a beautiful vine. This vine was very special because it was covered with green leaves and bunches of grapes that looked like little jewels under the sun. The vine was proud of its grapes because they would be used to make delicious wine. One day, a goat wandered into the field. The goat was looking for something to eat because he was very hungry. He saw the vine and its young, tender leaves and tendrils. Without thinking about the vine's feelings, the goat started to nibble on them. The vine felt sad and hurt. It asked the goat, "Why are you eating my leaves and young shoots? Isn't there plenty of grass around for you to eat? You are hurting me for no reason." The goat didn't listen. He was too busy enjoying the tasty leaves. Then the vine said something that made the goat stop and think. "You might eat my leaves now and harm me, but one day I will be part of the wine that will be poured over you when you are offered in a sacrifice. That will be my revenge." The goat laughed at first, thinking it was a silly threat. But as time passed, the words of the vine stayed with him. He started to realize that his actions could have consequences he hadn't thought about. Months went by, and the grapes on the vine were turned into wine, just as the vine had said. The goat, still wandering around and eating whatever he found, had forgotten about the vine's warning. Then one day, the goat was chosen for a special ceremony in the village. It was an honor, but it also meant that he would be sacrificed. As part of the ritual, wine was poured over him. In that moment, the goat remembered the vine's words. He realized that the vine had been right. By eating the leaves and harming the vine, he had contributed to his own fate in a way he had not expected. The wine that was now being poured over him was a reminder of how everything is connected and how our actions can come back to us. Number 73, A Mother's Love, 오메어니의 사랑. Number 73, A Mother's Love, 오메어니의 사랑. In a vast and lush forest, Jupiter, the king of the gods, decided to hold a special contest. He sent out a message to all the animals in the forest, announcing that he would give a grand prize to the parent whose child was the most beautiful of all. This news caused great excitement among the animals, and soon the forest was buzzing with anticipation. On the day of the contest, animals of all shapes and sizes arrived, each one proudly bringing their offspring to show to Jupiter. There were little deer with sparkling eyes, baby birds with fluffy feathers, and tiny rabbits with the softest fur. Each parent believed their child to be the most beautiful and hoped to win the prize. Among the contestants was a monkey. She came forward, holding her baby tightly in her arms with all the love and pride in her heart. Her baby was quite different from the others. He had a flat nose, no hair, and his features were not what the other animals expected. When the monkey presented her baby as a candidate for the prize, some of the animals couldn't help but laugh. He didn't look like their idea of beautiful, but the monkey mother stood strong and proud. She looked at her baby with so much love and said, "I don't know if Jupiter will choose my son for the prize, but I do know one thing. To me, his mother, he is the most precious, the most handsome, and the most beautiful of all." Her words made the other animals stop and think. They looked at their own children and felt a surge of love and pride. They realized that every parent sees their child as the most beautiful in the world, no matter what others think. It's the love that a parent feels for their child that truly makes them special and beautiful. In the end, Jupiter was touched by the monkey's words, and by the love she showed for her child. He announced that the contest had revealed something more important than outer beauty. It had shown the deep, unconditional love that parents have for their children, which was far more valuable than any physical appearance. Jupiter decided that every parent in the forest deserved a reward for this love. The animals left the contest not with a prize for beauty, but with a reminder of the strength and importance of a parent's love. Number 74. The Widow and Her Little Maidens. Number 74. The Widow and Her Little Maidens. In a small, cozy house in the village lived a widow who loved to keep her home spotless and shining. She had 2 young girls who helped her around the house with the chores. The widow was very particular about starting the day early, so she would wake up the girls at the first sound of the rooster's crow to begin their work. The 2 girls, however, were not fond of waking up so early every morning. They found it hard to get out of bed when it was still dark outside, and they longed for just a little more sleep. The early mornings made them feel tired all day, and they started to feel unhappy with their situation. One day they came up with what they thought was a clever plan to get more sleep. They believed that if the rooster didn't crow, their mistress wouldn't know it was time to wake up, and they could enjoy a longer rest in the mornings. So they decided to sneak out and stop the rooster from waking them up so early. The next morning, to their initial delight, there was no crow at dawn. The house remained quiet, and the girls smiled at each other, thinking they had solved their problem. However, their happiness was short-lived. Without the rooster's crow to tell her the time, the widow started waking up the girls even earlier than before. She would wake up in the middle of the night, thinking it was almost dawn, and get the girls up to start their chores in the pitch dark. Now, instead of gaining extra sleep, the girls found themselves losing even more rest and working longer hours. They quickly realized that their plan had backfired. By trying to avoid a little discomfort, they had created a much bigger problem for themselves. They missed the rooster's crow, which, though early, had at least allowed them a few hours of sleep before sunrise. Feeling regretful and more exhausted than ever, the girls learned an important lesson about considering the consequences of their actions. They understood that sometimes things that seem bothersome have a purpose, and that trying to take shortcuts can lead to greater difficulties. This story teaches us an important lesson about thinking before we act, and considering how our actions might affect others and ourselves in the future. Number 75, the consequences of lying. Number 75, the consequences of lying. In a peaceful village surrounded by lush meadows, there lived a young shepherd boy. He was given the important job of watching over a flock of sheep, making sure they were safe from harm. The meadow where the sheep grazed was close to the village, and the villagers had promised to help the boy if ever there was trouble. One day, out of boredom and seeking some excitement, the boy came up with a mischievous plan. He ran towards the village, shouting at the top of his lungs, "Wolf, wolf! The wolf is attacking the sheep." Concerned for the boy and the flock, the villagers dropped everything they were doing and rushed out to help him. However, when they arrived at the meadow, they found no wolf. The sheep were calmly grazing, and the boy was laughing at the villagers' worried faces. He found it amusing to deceive them and enjoy their panicked reactions. The villagers were not pleased. They warned the boy not to play such tricks on them again, reminding him of the importance of trust. But the boy didn't take their words to heart. He tricked them again and again, each time finding it funnier than the last. Then one day a real wolf appeared. It snuck into the meadow, eyeing the sheep with hunger. The boy, seeing the danger, panicked and ran towards the village, screaming louder than ever, "Wolf, please help! The wolf is here for real this time." But the villagers, having been fooled too many times, believed it was just another trick. They ignored his cries and went about their business, thinking the boy was just seeking attention again. Meanwhile, the wolf attacked the flock, enjoying a feast without interruption. The boy watched in horror as his precious sheep were taken one by one. By the time the wolf was done, there was little left of the flock. Feeling devastated and alone, the boy realized the grave mistake he had made. By lying repeatedly, he had lost the trust of the villagers. Now, when he needed help the most, no one believed him.